And we're back live on KBLP, and we're with the Book Corner with yours truly, Denise Harris, and we're discussing Anne Rice tonight. I was going to do cults, and I apologize for some of the glitches here. Kicked me out, so internet must be slow again. So anyway, I was going to do cults, but I think I got too much info. I was getting a little into it, and I was not happy with the outcome, so I'm going to save that for 2 weeks from tonight. We're going to do cults. So, tonight we're doing Anne Rice, and I apologize if it's a bit boring. I know sometimes it can be. But they had some amazing music from the movie Queen of the Damned. I absolutely love it. We'll have more later. So, we're on to the fourth book in the Vampire Chronicle series, Tale of the Body Thief. It's the fourth book, and it follows Queen of the Damned. And Tale of Body Thief is interesting. It continues the adventures of Lestat. It was published in 1992, and his efforts to regain his lost humanity. Which is interesting. Lestat, he grows depressed and remorseful because of his nature. He's a vampire, and it's really bothering him at this point. He tries to limit his victims to murderers, serial killers, and other criminals, but he caves into temptation once in a while and kills an innocent or somebody he feels does not necessarily deserve to die. He suffers from constant nightmares concerning his late, and in quotations, daughter, Claudia. And he blames himself for that. Although, she burned him and fed him to the gators. So I don't know how much remorse he should have over that. She left him for dead in the swamp with the gators. So, I'm not so sure about her so-called innocence and all that. And the coven of vampires formed at the end of Queen of the Damned has broken up. And he's lonely too. I mean, he's immortal. So, and his only remaining friends is the mortal head of the Talamasca, David Talbot. And now he's 74. And he's offered David the dark gift, and he's refused it every single time. And because Lestat wants him to keep him company through eternity. Lonely and depressed, Lestat goes to the Gobi Desert at dawn in a half-hearted suicide. Attempting he's going to go what they call going to the fire, get burned by the sun. When he doesn't die, he goes to David's home in England to heal. And a mysterious figure, Raglan James, the eponymous body thief of the story, approaches Lestat with what seems to be a cure for his depression. And he sends him several messages hinting that he has the ability to switch bodies. Ooh, there's a temptation for you. And sooner or later, he proposes to Lestat that the two of them trade bodies for a day. And the other vampires are like, not such a good idea. And David Talbot is like, nope, not good, don't do that. But of course, Lestat is Lestat, and he jumps at it. But unbeknownst to him at the time, James has no intention of ever switching back. And Lestat is forced to scheme to regain his body. He nearly dies after becoming human again, and his new body is wrecked by pneumonia, which he ignores for a while. In the middle of winter, he is saved by the care of a nun named Gretchen, and he enjoys a short love affair with her before she returns to South America. And then Lestat sets out in search of his body. He seeks help from the other vampires, but is completely ostracized by them. They shun him. Marius is so angry at him for leaving such a powerful body to a thief and refuses to help him. And Louis turns him away when he asks Louis to make his new body into a vampire. And Louis is like, you should be happy to be human again. And also calls him out on his previous writings, accusing him of altering his actual past. And so his only friend is David Talbot. So getting resources from the Talamasca, Talbot reveals that James was a gifted psychic, say that 10 times, who once joined the order. He was part of the Talamasca, but he was kicked out for a constant theft. He's a kleptomaniac and he enjoys stealing for the thrill of it. It is revealed that every single thing he owns, from his house to his body, is not really his. It's either stolen and schemed for. He also has a major psychological problem, and his life is a series of cycles. Gets rich by theft, ends up in prison. Dying of cancer several years before, James tricked the inmate of a mental institution into switching bodies with him. It's a type of immortality. He just jumps body to body to live. And it's his lack of imagination and petty thievery that allows Talbot and Lestat to track him down. And although he has newfound wealth and a new body, James continues to steal jewelry from people. He just can't help it. So, and boarding the RMS Queen Elizabeth II and draining victims of their blood along the ship's path. The pattern allows his pursuer. They find him pretty easy. He's leaving a trail. How can you not find him? But on the cruise ship, Lestat manages to drain his body with David's help, but the sun is rising as he performs the switch, and he must immediately flee to a safe place. When he awakes in the evening, he finds that both James and Talbot have disappeared. Lestat finds David in Florida and is surprised to find that his friend, despite his earlier reservations, now wants to become a vampire. However, while taking his blood, Lestat discovers a final trick. When forced out of Lestat's body, James took over Talbot's. Instead of returning to his own, Lestat gets really ticked, and he crushes James' skull. The blow proves fatal. The injury damages James's brain and prevents him from leaving the dying body or trying to switch bodies before the current one dies. At this point, the tale of the body thief reaches a false ending. James is dead. David has begun to enjoy life in his new young body. Lestat returns to New Orleans, reunites with Louis, and begins to renovate his old house in the French Quarter. But above all, Lestat claims he has finally come to accept his nature. But Lestat warns readers not to continue if they are happy with this ending. And then he goes back to claiming that he has regained his evil nature. But a few weeks later, Lestat decides to make Talbot into a vampire against his wishes. And despite the role Talbot played in saving his life when everybody abandoned him. But before doing that, he asks David if he's ever had any luck with having physical affairs. David admits, yeah, he's had a few, but not with much luck. And Lestat tells David what he's about to do to him and tells him he's going to bring him over, thus indicating that Lestat is not playing around this time and he's really going to do it. And he tells David he won't let him die and that he's the only real friend he's ever had. And during the first part of David's transformation, he strongly resists Lestat's dominance, assaultive and verbal advances, despite Lestat's warning not to fight him. But after a while, he succumbs. Secretly, though, Lestat really loves David fighting him. Lestat lets the readers in on his real emotions for David by thinking of him as having this scrumptious body with a beautiful mind for his beautiful friend, and as his, in quotes, beloved David. Soon after, David admits his love for Lestat, and they both feel the same way. And after having immortality forced upon him, David disappears again. Lestat looks for him, but no luck, so he returns home to New Orleans, where David's already there. He's already contacted Louis. And he explains to Lestat that in secret, this is what he always truly wanted. And he tells Lestat he's no longer angry with him. And having gotten rid of his old age and now being immortal, David plans to visit Rio de Janeiro with Louis and asks Lestat to join him. But at the end, what happens? Poor Lestat, that despite all that happened, he's still alone. He has failed to regain his humanity and has thrown away his only chance to make amends for his past misdeeds. So all this he went through with this Raglan James, the body thief, and giving David the dark gift, and all this going on, what happens? Nothing has changed. He's still lonely, and he's thrown away his only chance to make amends. So, was it worth it? No. But Lestat is Lestat. This is what he does. He's so impulsive. He doesn't think. Usually, if it sounds good, he's going to do it, regardless of the outcome. And then he regrets it, as always. But it was an interesting story because of the nature of a soul jumping bodies to keep alive. Unfortunately, he wasn't quite right. He was a klepto and so forth, but interesting concept with that. And that brings us to Men Mock the Devil. Oh, I love this book. It's the 5th novel